Michael Barrymore has succeeded in his bid to claim substantial compensation damages from the Essex police, with the claim possibly running into millions. The ruling was announced on Friday morning, and relates back to the comedian's arrest in June of 2007. The 65-year-old star, who was once one of the highest-paid entertainers on TV, was arrested and detained on suspicion of the rape and murder of Stuart Lubbock, who was found dead in Barrymore's swimming pool 6 years earlier. Michael believes his loss of earnings and the damage his reputation suffered amount to more than £2.4 million. Michael Barrymore has succeeded in his bid to claim substantial compensation damages from the Essex Police. Image PAA High Court judge ruled that the entertainer is entitled to more than nominal damages against Essex Police over the wrongful arrest which he says destroyed his career. Mr. Justice Stuart Smith, sitting in London, ruled against the force, which had argued that Mr. Barrymore should only receive a nominal payout. The judge did not decide on the sum to be awarded, as his ruling dealt only with the preliminary issue of the level of damages to be awarded to Mr. Barrymore, who brought the action in his real name, Michael Kieran Parker. The ruling was announced on Friday morning, and relates back to the comedian's arrest in June of 2007. Image Flynet Essex Police had admitted the arrest was unlawful, as the arresting officer did not have reasonable grounds to suspect that Mr. Barrymore was guilty. Mr. Justice Stuart Smith ruled that the defendant, the Chief Constable of Essex Police, has failed to prove that, if not arrested unlawfully as he was, Mr. Parker Barrymore would have been arrested lawfully. He added Mr. Parker is entitled to recover more than nominal damages. The 65-year-old star was arrested and detained on suspicion of the rape and murder of Stuart Lubbock, who was found dead in Barrymore's swimming pool 6 years earlier. Image PAA High Court judge ruled that the entertainer is entitled to more than nominal damages against Essex Police over the wrongful arrest which he says destroyed his career. Image PA Mr. Lubbock's body was found in the comedian's swimming pool after a party where drugs and alcohol were consumed. Following the recovery of his body, a post-mortem examination revealed that Stuart had suffered serious anal injuries. In 2002, an open verdict was recorded at the inquest into his death. However, in May 2007, a forensic pathologist instructed by Essex Police said he did not consider there to be any possible benign or accidental explanation for the nature and extent of the injuries. In a hearing in May of this year, Michael's lawyer, Hugh Tomlinson QC, said that there was no evidence whatever of rape and the cause of Mr. Lubbock's death could not be ascertained. Michael believes his loss of earnings and the damage his reputation suffered amount to more than £2.4 million. Image PA He also added that the star was keen to cooperate with the investigation and had been interviewed. In a statement on its website, Essex Police said the judgment is clear that the officers leading the investigation into Stuart Lubbock's death had reasonable grounds to suspect Mr. Parker had raped or murdered Mr. Lubbock at his home address and had reasonable grounds for believing that it was necessary to arrest him. It is acknowledged that the threshold for forming this suspicion is low and falls far short of that required to charge or convict a person. The judgment also states there was clear evidence of a violent penetrating assault, which may have been rape, and that Mr. Parker was one of a small and closed group of people who could have committed the assault. Shortly after Friday's decision was announced, Essex Police released a statement. Image PA Unfortunately, the designated arresting officer, who did have the required knowledge to make a lawful arrest, was stuck in traffic when Mr. Parker was seen on June 14, 2007. For operational reasons, it was not desirable to postpone the arrest, which was coordinated with the arrest of 2 other suspects. It is agreed that the surveillance officer who arrested Mr. Parker did not have the required grounds for suspicion in his mind, and therefore the arrest was unlawful. The question of what losses Mr. Park suffered as a result of his arrest on that day in June 2007 will now proceed to a further hearing. The statement added today's judgment must not overshadow the questions which are still unanswered for Mr. Lubbock's family and friends. 16 years on, they still need to know what happened to Stuart on that night, how he was injured, and who is responsible for his death. A small number of people know the answers to those questions, and over the years loyalties change and somebody may want to help us at this time. Essex Police remain committed to establishing what happened. Anyone who feels they have information which could help police answer those questions should contact us on 101 or Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.